are where you live.
Harlem has done so much for me. Harlem has inspired me.
From the reporters in the field.
This is very chilling news, especially for families.
To us on the desk who truly care about these stories.
We need to move into clean power. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but if you're a good person, you'll do it.
Unbelievable. Talk about out of touch. I'm Jack Chitterelli. Politicians like Mikey Sherrill and Phil Murphy just don't get it. They're making New Jersey unaffordable, especially for the middle class. We need a change. My plan brings down property taxes, lowers electricity bills, and cuts your income taxes. Because you should keep more of what you earn. It's time to fix New Jersey. When I'm governor, we will.
Debate night in New Jersey, the Garden State, becoming more purple, setting the tone, with the nation waiting to see which way Jersey voters will go. Will Democrats keep control of the governor's mansion, bucking a historical trend? Or will Republicans take over the top spot? Tonight, live, hear from Democrat Dale Caldwell.
You can either stand on the sidelines and complain, or you can jump right in.
And Republican James Gannon.
This is not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about all the people.
Both vying to become lieutenant governor. As you prepare to cast your vote for them and their running mates, the future of New Jersey hanging in the balance. From your local election headquarters, this is Debate Night in New Jersey, Lieutenant Governor. Co-sponsored by the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission, Kean University, PIX11, and New Jersey 101.5. Now, we go live to Kean University's North Avenue Academic Building for this exclusive debate.
I'm PIX11's Vanessa Freeman, and we thank you for joining us. This is a special evening, marking PIX11 and PHL-17's first ever debate in the state of New Jersey, and it's one sanctioned by the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission. We're broadcasting tonight's debate across the entire Garden State on these two channels, as well as the PIX11 Plus streaming app. You can also listen in on the radio on New Jersey 101.5. So before we get to the big questions, here are the debate rules. Each of you will get 60 seconds to answer a question. For any follow-ups, you will get 30 seconds, and you will have up to 30 seconds for rebuttals if called upon. The ringing of a bell will be used to signal that your time has expired. There it is. Moderating this debate for Lieutenant Governor, PIX11 anchor and the host of its weekly PIX on Politics show, Dan Mannarino, and PIX11's senior political reporter, Henry Rosoff. With that, debate night in New Jersey is underway. Dan, take it away.
Vanessa, thank you very much, and great to have you. Candidates, great to have both of you here tonight. Looking forward to a lively and spirited debate. According to the most recent polling of the top of your respective tickets, Mr. Caldwell, you will get the first question and the final closing statement. With that, let us begin. The Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey leads the state for periods of time when the governor is out of state and is next in line to succeed the governor. With many New Jersey voters still getting to know both of you, our first question is very straightforward. Mr. Caldwell, you currently serve as president of Centenary University in Hackettstown. But what makes you qualified to be the second most powerful person in state government? You have 60 seconds.
Well, first, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank our sponsors for putting this important debate, and thank the sheriff for being on stage with me. I'm new to this statewide politics. I want to introduce myself very quickly. I've traveled all 21 counties, and I've discovered that the voters are looking for leaders that have experience, leaders that have empathy, and leaders that have ethics. And I just want to introduce myself. As you said, I'm president of Centenary University, but I'm also pastor of Covenant United Methodist Church in Plainfield. Centenary is in Hackettstown. I spent 2 decades on the New Brunswick Board of Education and was the president of the largest special needs school district, the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. I spent 15 years at Deloitte Consulting and at Scholastic, as well as the Deputy Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. But I have a strong passion for small business and making sure that small businesses grow throughout the state. That background has given me a new perspective on leading New Jersey. And Mikey and I, you will find, our background together makes a unique leadership team.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, you currently serve as Morris County Sheriff. But the same question coming to you right now. What makes you qualified to be the second most powerful person in state government? 60 seconds here.
Thanks to WPIX and thanks to Dr. Caldwell. I look forward to a spirited debate here tonight. I'm prepared to lead. You know, I've been involved in law enforcement my whole life. So I've been from the local cop level to the major crime unit in the county to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. I was in corporate America, obviously at Novartis, the drug company. So I've been in leadership roles for much of my life. And I'm real aligned with Jack Ciattarelli with regards to his issues and where he's going on a leadership level. And I know we're going to be in good shape. It'll be seamless when he has to leave the area. I'm prepared to lead, and I have the experience in doing it.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. And when one of you becomes lieutenant governor, the governor you'll be serving under is allowed to appoint you to be the head of a state department without state Senate approval. Mr. Gannon, coming to you first here, what major agency in state government would you hope to lead under Jack Ciattarelli, and why? You have 30 seconds here.
I think where my strong suit is, obviously, is in the law enforcement side. You know, now those decisions have not been made yet with regards to Jack Ciattarelli. He hasn't made those decisions yet. But on the counterterrorism side and on the crime side, I think that's where I'd be best suited. But I'm ready to serve in any of those positions. I mean, the state government, there's a lot of locations where I could give benefit to. But I think I'd go into the law enforcement and counterterrorism side to keep New Jersey safe.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, same question. What major agency in state government would you hope to lead under Mikey Sherrill, and why? 30 seconds here.
I had the opportunity to be the Deputy Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. I have a deep education experience and also looking at Secretary of State. I actually was a member of the first Domestic Security Preparedness Task Force, so I have some insight into, not as much as the sheriff, but those things. So there's some options. We haven't made a decision, but I certainly will add value in multiple departments.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. And Henry has our next topic.
Thank you, Dan, and good evening, gentlemen. Thank you both for joining us on this debate stage. Let's move on to some of the local issues, shall we? Beginning with everyone's favorite in New Jersey, property taxes. Mr. Caldwell, we're going to begin with you. The Democratic campaign that you are a part of has spoken about shared services agreements as a path to lowering property taxes. But this has been talked about for a long time, and taxes keep going up. Please explain how you and Ms. Sherrill would make towns and school districts work together to lower taxes. You have 60 seconds.
Well, a couple things. So one, as the president of the university, my daughter is 21. She's a senior at Rutgers. I'm very concerned about property taxes and making sure that they stay here in the state of New Jersey. I actually, as president of the Educational Services Commission, which has the largest shared service program, almost every municipality and every school district are purchasing buses and paper and other things through that. That saved over the last 10 years $250 million in taxes. In addition, the tuition. So we actually have implemented already some shared service agreements. I also have worked with the shared service czars to some extent to understand some of the challenges they had. They've brought in over $1 billion over the time that they've been with the current group. So there's a real opportunity to do things going forward. But it takes experience in government to understand how we can reduce some of those taxes through shared services.
To try and bottom line this for folks who are watching right now in this room and at home, at the end of 4 years of your administration, if you're elected, will property taxes by and large be lower? 15 seconds.
That is our goal. That is our goal, and we're looking to do everything we can. Unfortunately, the assault from the administration in Washington, the Trump administration, adding $5 billion to us makes that even harder. And so we're trying to do that in a very, very difficult environment where you have Washington that is taking money away from the state.
So that's a yes, but with some caveats?
With some caveats, yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gannon, coming to you now. The Republican campaign that you are a part of is promising to, quote, cut and cap property taxes. But these taxes, as we were just discussing, largely controlled by local communities, including school districts. So please explain how you at the state level would keep that promise. You have 60 seconds.
Yes, I think the first thing we have to know is that for the last 25 years, the legislature has been controlled by the Democratic Party. For the last 8 years, Governor Murphy has controlled the governor's office. We haven't seen property taxes go down. We have to look at what's going on. And, you know, it's a real problematic piece. From the shared services perspective, I've done work on that. I've merged the Morris County Park Police into the Morris County Sheriff's Office. You know, they were siloed before that. We've done some other things like the Sussex County Jail, the Somerset County Jail. I have custody of those inmates now, and I get monies from that county instead of having these infrastructures all over the place, we isolated them to the Morris County Correctional Facility, and we raised $6.2 million a year there. So we've done those types of things. That's where we have to look, because the back of the taxpayer is broken. That's the reality. And I think we have to look at any of those opportunities and to lower taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Mr. Caldwell, we'll get back to you in 1 minute, but I want to be fair and ask him the same bottom line follow-up question. In 15 seconds, will property taxes be lower in 4 years if you are elected?
Yes, they will.
Thank you very much, and I told you we'd stick with it, Mr. Caldwell. So let me frame the question, but we'll stick with property taxes here. We're wondering if, to put a button on this section of property taxes, if elected, will Governor Phil Murphy's property tax rebate program for homeowners and renters, known as the Anchor Program, continue in your administration? 30 seconds.
Future Governor Sherrill and I have really looked at the Anchor Program, NJ's Stay program as well, to really make sure that that New Jersey remains affordable for all people, seniors and others. So we're really looking at that, and we're looking at other opportunities to even expand those kinds of programs or come up with some new programs. So right now we're really looking across the gambit to understand what money is available to begin to make sure that we can keep people here and we can reduce property taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Gannon, same question. Is the Anchor Program part of the solution here if you are elected? 30 seconds.
Yes, it is. I think it is, the Anchor Program. The only thing we have to be careful of is this, okay? You can't put $1 in this pocket and take $5 out of this pocket. So we have to coordinate those types of things, and I think they have to be looked at holistically, where the spend is, and we can go into that. But yes, I think that we have to stick with that. People need those monies to get on their feet, to stay on their feet. We have to do that.
Mr. Caldwell, 15 seconds to try and put a button on this section, please.
Yes, as the current Trump administration has a $3.6 billion hole in Medicaid, a $3.3 billion hole in our hospitals. So he's absolutely right. You can't take money out of one hand and put it in the other. And the Trump administration is taking money out of the New Jersey budget. I don't understand how the Centenary team can pay for that.
And Mr. Gannon, 15 seconds, and we're moving on.
President Trump's been in office for 8 months. 8 months. That's it. Okay, I think we, blaming things on Trump, President Trump, I don't think are fair at this juncture. Remember, 8 years, Governor Murphy's been in the office, and 25 years the legislature has been controlled by the Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Dan has the next topic.
Gentlemen, we're going to move on to the important topic of energy. New Jerseyans are getting squeezed by rising energy prices. Mr. Gannon, how would you work to quickly boost power production across the state and help really control those prices? You have 60 seconds here.
Yeah, electricity prices are problematic. When I go around the state, like Dr. Caldwell said, we hit 21 counties and we go around, it's the #1 issue that people are concerned about. But I think, to be fair, the prior administration has bet on things like wind, and it didn't work. The bottom line is we have to stand up strong nuclear programs, natural gas, and solar programs, and you have to have a portfolio of electricity. We used to sell off our electricity. Now we're buying electricity. It's a failed project, and we have to recognize that and get on it because time is ticking on those types of things, and that's where we'd be on it. We have to get a portfolio of energy.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Mr. Caldwell, same question to you. How would you work to quickly boost power production across the state and really help control prices? You have 60 seconds.
Two things very, very quickly. You heard there is no plan there. And Governor Murphy will not be in office when Mikey and I are in office. Mikey is the only one who said we're going to freeze energy rate hikes. We're going to invest in solar, battery-powered. We're going to look at nuclear as well as the natural gas infrastructure. And the ratepayer advocate has said that program can work. A lot of people are not leaders to understand that the governor of New Jersey can actually do that. That's really one of the plans that we're going to do going forward. But Governor Murphy will not be in office. The Trump administration will be for 3 years when we're governor and lieutenant governor.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. And gentlemen, our next question comes from reporter Jennifer Lewis Hall of our sister station in Philadelphia, PIX11. Take a listen.
Just last week, more than a quarter of the nation's governors gathered here in Philadelphia. They lobbied for more sway over grid operator PJM interconnection, which has been blamed for rising electric bills. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro even went as far to say that if PJM doesn't make serious changes and soon, Pennsylvania could elect to leave the grid. Would you and your running mate also consider leaving the grid?
So, Mr. Caldwell, coming to you first here, just to reiterate, would you and Ms. Sherrill consider leaving the power grid? 60 seconds here.
Mikey has made it very clear that we're going to hold the ratepayers, PJM, and others accountable. And so we're looking at alternate opportunities and really looking at possibly doing that, whatever makes sense for the residents of New Jersey. But we've got to make sure that the folks who are supplying energy are doing it in the best interest of the people of New Jersey and aren't lining their pockets with money. And so what we want to do is to make sure that there's accountability for everything that's being done with energy, and we're not sure that there is.
So just to be clear here, leaving the power grid is on the table.
Everything is on the table to make sure that rates stay flat for this year and go down in the future.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, same question to you. Would you and Mr. Chitterelli consider leaving the power grid? 60 seconds here.
All options are on the table. We have to do what's best for the citizens of New Jersey. You know, we have to call balls and strikes. You know, what's best for the citizens of New Jersey is what we will do. So, yeah, those options are on the table.
Okay, Mr. Gannon, thank you. Let's talk now about political violence and rhetoric. The killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk has really sparked renewed debate over language that may incite violence, especially among political leaders. Recently, California Governor Gavin Newsom used the word fascist to describe a top aide to President Trump. And President Trump has for years, including recently, said his opponents were, quote, radical. Mr. Caldwell, if elected Lieutenant Governor, how would you view your personal responsibility in making sure you do not encourage violence? 60 seconds here.
Well, first of all, my father knew and marched arm in arm with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so I grew up around the environment. You know, one of the things we say in the church is to love your neighbor as yourself. And so no matter what people believe, and one of the things we say in my church, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it. So we are, Mikey and I are leaders that want to unify and bring people together. One of the things I really love about the sheriff is he says it's not about Democrat or Republican, it's really about us coming together. And so this is a time where division and Trump has become a divider in chief. And Jack Ciattarelli is supporting, as said, he acknowledges and supports everything Trump is doing. So that administration is going to continue to divide us and separate us. Mikey and I are going to bring us together around the issues that matter to the people of New Jersey.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, same question to you. What is your personal responsibility in making sure you do not encourage violence? 60 seconds.
First of all, God bless your father, and God bless Dr. Martin Luther King. Tremendous men, right? I think that's the first order of business. And we need more tolerance. We need more tolerance. And it is more about people than Republicans and Democrats. It truly is. And the Morris County Sheriff's Office started a FAST team, a First Amendment support team, to go out there. We have a lot of demonstrations throughout Morris County, military capital of the revolution in Morristown. We have a lot of demonstrations. We go out there, we protect people because of their freedom of speech. If we're not protecting that, I don't know what we're doing. We have to protect that now, as long as it doesn't go into the criminal arena. But we spend a lot of time protecting people we don't necessarily agree with. But that's what we do in law enforcement traditionally, and that's what we should continue to do.
Mr. Gannon, thank you very much. And Henry has the next topic.
Thank you, Dan. Let's talk about two of the bigger political names in your respective parties, beginning with you, Mr. Gannon. Your running mate, Mr. Chitterelli, for years was hesitant to support President Trump before coming around. President Trump has now endorsed your ticket. Did you personally vote for President Trump the 3 times he was on the ballot? And do you support him now? 60 seconds.
Yes and yes.
You voted for him all 3 times, 16,
yes.
20, and 24? And
yes.
You support the president now?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cook. Easy enough. Mr. Caldwell, moving on to you, sir. Your running mate, Mikey Sherrill, has declined to formally endorse the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani. What are your own personal views on Mr. Mamdani, and do you endorse him? 60 seconds.
Well, we are focusing on winning this race. We're focusing on New Jersey. The issues of New York we're leaving to the voters of New York. You know, I don't know enough, and I haven't had time to even look at some of our own commercials, let alone follow that race. And when I vote for somebody, I need to know all of the details, and I just don't have time to do that. We're focusing on the people of New Jersey. We're trying to make New Jersey more affordable. We want to improve the health care system in New Jersey. We want to make sure the environment and open space is protected. That's what we're focusing on, and there are a lot of issues. This is a tough time to go into government with the assault of the Trump administration, so we're focused on New Jersey.
For clarity, you are declining to endorse Mr. Mamdani this evening.
I don't know enough. I don't have enough information to endorse him. I'm focused on our race.
Thank you very much. Dan has the next question.
Let's talk about a very important topic to New Jersey, and that is housing. According to Zillow, the average cost of buying a home in New Jersey has gone up more than 18% just in the past 3 years, raising the cost of buying the average home by tens of thousands of dollars. So, Mr. Gannon, how would you work to build more housing that working people can afford? You have 60 seconds here.
Yes, housing is a huge issue. You know, overdevelopment, Mount Laurel issues, things. If I was in charge, I tell you, with regards to instead of on the Mount Laurel issue, instead of just giving a raw number to a town and saying you have to put these amounts of units up, I would have a planner involved in it. And that planner would select locations like Red Bank, like Somerville, you know, not locations like Roxbury where they try to put too many units into Roxbury Township. But I would select those locations. Do they have the critical infrastructure in place? What's their water like? What's their sewer look like? What's the wildlife look like? There's a lot of things to consider when you put these locations in. Is there a transit hub? Are there jobs? Because all we do is set people up for failure. That's what we do, right? We put places up in the middle of nowhere, and people have no work. They can't get to work and everything. We set them up for failure. We have to set people up for success, and we'll work with folks to make them successful and to keep them here in the Garden State.
Mr. Gannon, just to follow up here on the Mount Laurel decision, which requires its law for towns and municipalities to build affordable housing, are you saying you would like to alter the Mount Laurel decision and not require every town to do so?
Definitely.
How would you go about doing that? 15 seconds.
Get together with people on all sides of the issue and come to some type of agreement of what we can do for success of people. No one wants people to fail when they think it out. No one wants people to fail. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. That's what we have to do. Get people around on all sides of the ball here and do what's right for New Jersey.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. And Mr. Caldwell, coming to you now, same question. How would you work to build more housing that working people can afford? 60 seconds.
Mikey Shell has been very, very clear on that, and we are in total sync with this. One, to make sure that first-generation homebuyer programs are expanded, programs that are helping seniors downsize are expanded. Looking at building, and Mike has made it clear, to protect open space. There are empty office parks now, and there are opportunities to really build those empty office parks. So we're going to build and expand on existing infrastructure so that housing can be affordable for more folks. And affordable housing is really it's really middle-class housing. Police and teachers are eligible for that housing. So we're really looking to make housing more affordable instead of really sticking with this idea of affordable housing, but to make sure that people can live here. My daughter's 21. I'm president of a university. I worry about their ability to stay in New Jersey, their ability to buy a home and live the American dream.
And just to be fair, because I asked him the same question, would you be in favor of keeping the Mount Laurel decision as is, requiring every town to build affordable housing?
Well, we're going to look to make sure that the Mount Laurel decision is actually utilized in a way that protects open space.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. We're going to move on to an important topic now of jobs. Job numbers show unemployment is ticking up so far this year nationwide and in New Jersey. So, Mr. Caldwell, how will you help New Jerseyans keep their jobs or get back to work? You have 60 seconds.
Yes, as the president of a university, one of the things that we've worked on are vocational programs. We've partnered with a group, the Ideal Institute of Technology in Pleasantville, that actually is paying students to go to school, to create the kind of jobs that are needed in the workforce. As you look at that, I've been a big proponent for small businesses. Small businesses represent 49% of the workforce. So we need to, and the Cheryl Caldwell administration is going to invest in programs that clear out the bureaucracy of government and really help small businesses grow, small and family businesses grow, so that they can generate revenue, which can help us with property taxes, but also generate jobs. One of the things that the Trump administration, their DOGE program, that people think that the folks who lost jobs are just in Washington, really tens of thousands of people lost their jobs from Washington here in New Jersey. So he's helped to increase the rates. And if you look at the national labor statistics, it's down. I mean, it's the worst it's been in years. So Mikey and I are focused on jobs, which is really one of the best social programs out there.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you very much. Mr. Gannon, same question to you. How will you help New Jerseyans keep their jobs or get back to work? 60 seconds.
I think it's very important that we make sure that the employer can stay here. Right? Can the employer stay here? Right? Are we sweetening the deal for them so they can stay in New Jersey and not move on to somewhere else? I mean, that's certainly a concern of mine. I'll give you an example. We do a lot of work in my county, right, in Morris County, with regards to jobs, even to the point in the correctional facility. Right? Where we have people, we teach people how to do various things in a correctional facility even, which is really important. When people get out, maybe on light charges, people get out, they have jobs. We get certifications through safe food handling and things like that. So we're always looking for ways to employ people, but that employer has to want to stay and not move to Pennsylvania where maybe the deal is a little better for them. We have to keep them here. We have to be competitive in that market to keep people here, or they'll drive up the road 80 West a couple miles and they'll be in Pennsylvania, and maybe the people don't want to travel with them. So that's what we do.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, 30 seconds.
I just wanted to talk about some real programs that I had started with Rutgers Newark called the Young Men Employment Network Conference, where we actually, for many years, actually taught them how to tie a tie, how to interview. We had corporations doing that. So those types of programs for folks from urban, suburban communities are critical going forward so that they can make New Jersey more affordable by getting jobs that will help them pay their bills. So it's critically important, and we're the only group that actually has that hands-on experience in communities that are economically challenged.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, 30 seconds.
No, thank you.
Okay. Henry has the next topic.
Thank you very much, Dan. Our next question comes from Eric Scott, the Senior Political Director at radio station New Jersey 101.5. Let's all take a listen.
I'm here in Trenton, where lawmakers from both political parties complain about wasteful government spending and endless government red tape. So the question is this: name one state agency in need of reform and how specifically your administration would reorganize it.
So, Mr. Gannon, we're beginning with you this time. What is one state agency that needs reform, and how would you reorganize it? 60 seconds.
Let me identify an agency that gets a lot of scrutiny, and that's the Motor Vehicle Commission, right? Division of Motor Vehicles. When I'm knocking on doors and people are trying to, can you help me with my real ID? If you call today, you'll get it in January. Okay? I think we have to do something with that. I'm not saying it's Motor Vehicle Commission's fault. Maybe the leadership's fault. Maybe resources. They don't have the necessary resources. But that's something we have to jump into. We have to do that. I think we're the last state that hasn't completely done that. And Real ID is very important to do. But that's one location where it gets a lot of attention. But we have to collect metrics. It's easy to say, this person's not doing this, this department's not doing a good job or whatever. We have to collect metrics. That's what we do, right, in businesses. We collect metrics and make a determination as to why. But that's something I'd like to tackle head on when we get in there, Motor Vehicle Commission, so everybody here can get their real ID.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Mr. Caldwell, coming to you. What is one state agency that needs reform, and how would your ticket reorganize it? 60 seconds.
I agree with that. Motor vehicles is one of them, but Mikey's talked about the transparency and accountability of government. That we will be an administration really better than any others to really make sure that it's customer service focused. So often as I travel the state, I'm finding people can't dig a hole in their backyard without bureaucracy, that they can't do all sorts of things. And so what we want to do is to make sure that government works. We've talked about a dashboard for small businesses who are working with government to know where they are in the process. And so the state government really isn't working the way it should for the people of New Jersey. We're coming in, we're both independent folks, independent-minded folks who are Democrats, proud Democrats, but we're coming in really looking at what can we do for all the people of New Jersey to improve operations. My background at Deloitte and some other places have given me experience. I actually oversaw a review of the Department of Human Services with the previous administration, several administrations ago. We found $90 million of additional revenue in that department. So I have expertise in doing that. So that's one of the major things we're going to do.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Dan?
Gentlemen, we are halfway there, but we do have to squeeze in a quick commercial break. So when we come back, everybody, we're going to tackle the important topics of immigration and school policy towards transgender students. Stay with us. It's Debate Night in New Jersey.
Lieutenant Governor.
And welcome back, everybody, to Debate Night here in New Jersey, live at Kean University. I'm Dan Mannarino, alongside Henry Rosoff. Candidates, a lot of topics to get to this half hour. Henry is kicking us off.
Thank you, Dan. FBI crime data says there is a steady decline in violent crime in New Jersey over the last year. Mr. Gannon, what would your administration's response be if President Trump sent National Guardsmen to patrol the streets of New Jersey? You have 60 seconds.
Sir, if I may, my background is in this, right? I was a local cop. I was in the county prosecutor's office. I was in the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. I'm the sheriff. I've been involved in about 40 years. The president's not going to come into New Jersey. Not going to come in there. We have relationships with our partners. I came from the Joint Terrorism Task Force. We have relationships, whether it's FBI, DEA. All those relationships are established. So he's not going to just arbitrarily come in there because we have it under control, as you saw from the FBI, the raw data there, on the violent crime side. Now, obviously, we work a lot on the other things that affect people, the residential burglaries, the car thefts, and things like that. But we don't see that happening at all because of our relationships that we have. That's what it's all about. We don't want to meet people at the crime scene tape, as we say in the business. This is serious business. This is not Democrats, Republicans. This is serious business affecting people. And we work on that tirelessly. And the cops from New Jersey and beyond are second to none in doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Mr. Caldwell, same question. What would your administration's response be if President Trump sent National Guardsmen to patrol the streets of New Jersey? 60 seconds.
Well, as you know, Mikey has tremendous experience as a prosecutor. I hope the sheriff is right, but if you look at what the Trump administration has done in other places to send those troops in to assault the people of New Jersey, one of the realities, will never have the experience he has, but I actually did lead training for the Jersey City Police on moving from command and control to protect the service because of the trauma that command and control leaves in a community. So if the Trump administration comes in and attacks and really assaults a community, which is what's going on around other places in the country, the trauma that left behind will be devastating for the community. So we will fight that vigorously. We will protect the people. We will make sure that New Jersey residents, all New Jersey residents, are here, are safe, and we will continue to have a crime going down. It may not feel that way. So the community programs that we talked about actually can be very, very helpful in making communities safe, helping more people find jobs, and really helping the community come together in a much more significant, effective way.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Dan has the next topic.
Henry, thank you. Gentlemen, let's talk about immigration right now. New Jersey's version of a sanctuary-type policy is called the, quote, Immigrant Trust Directive. It was issued by the State Attorney General's office back in 2018. I want to read a part of it for you. Quote, the rules limit the types of assistance that New Jersey state and local law enforcement officers may provide to federal immigration authorities, including ICE, end quote. Mr. Caldwell, your party has been open to sanctuary laws. Would change this doctrine? 60 seconds.
Well, Mikey has sponsored legislation to make sure that due process and the masks are removed of the ICE agents. I just talked about the trauma that police cause in the community when it's command and control. And that command and control is causing more problems than it's helping. So we will prosecute violent criminals to the full extent of the law, but we need to make sure that everyone's safe. I'm a pastor of a church. Do you know how many people who are legal residents are fearful to go to the grocery store? We go to events that don't come at events. New Jersey is stronger than that. New Jersey is more empathetic than that. That's why I talk about empathy. So we've got to be empathetic about the people in the community, all people, but especially those that are legally here, who are frightened to death because of the things that the Trump administration has done in other parts of the country and here in New Jersey.
So just to be clear, yes or no here, would you keep the Immigrant Trust Directive?
We would make sure the people are safe. We're going to make sure that the laws are followed, the Constitution is followed, the laws of New Jersey. Mikey's going to hire an attorney general that's very strong that may have something even stronger than that.
To be clear, that's not a yes or no on whether or not you would keep the Immigrant Trust Directive. Okay, thank you. I want to keep on with you right now for a second to follow up here. Are there any circumstances where an undocumented person, perhaps accused of a violent crime, should be turned over to immigration officials? You have 30 seconds here.
Well, an undocumented person who's convicted of violent crime, yes, we've talked about it. Mikey's prosecuted folks who are committed violence. When this whole thing began, that's what the Trump administration said. We're going to take out violent criminals. And right now they're taking people who are law-abiding taxpayers. And so we need to prosecute and get people who've committed violent crimes off the street, but we also have to look at the individual situations of people who are here. And we've got to create policies that help people transition from immigrants to citizens. And so it's critically important that the empathy of the people in New Jersey. We want to protect people, but we want to be fair.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, coming to you now. You and Mr. Chitterelli have said you would get rid of the Immigrant Trust Directive on day one. So the question here is, what policy would you put in its place? You have 60 seconds.
Just to explain where we are. We're right. Day one, the Immigrant Trust Directive has to go, okay? The police are warriors and guardians in society, right? That's what the police are. We help a lot of people. As you've heard, social programs that we have, Hope One, all those things, the social programs that we have are wonderful for people. But we have warrior work, too. I'll take you back to September 11th, and it's a personal topic for most all of us here, your viewership. 15 out of the 19 hijackers were from the Garden State. So after that tragedy, 3,000 dead, these are faces, not cases to us. After that happens, the 9/11 Commission report comes out. It was led by Governor Kane, most trusted man in politics. If you ask me, he's the old Walter Cronkite, right? And he leads the effort. And they publish a 500-and-something page book that I've read and most of us have read. And the number one issue was the fact that people didn't communicate. Cases are solved by little pieces of evidence, maybe DNA, maybe testimonial evidence, little pieces of evidence they're solved. And this puts people at risk.
Okay, Mr. Gannon, just to be clear, the question is, what policy would you put in its place? I'll give you an additional 15 seconds here on that question.
The policy would be to continue. The policy would be to be able to communicate. All our partners out there, local cops, county cops, state cops, federal cops, right. ICE authorities, we should be communicating with them. We're not interested in being ICE, but we should share information with them.
Okay, Mr. Gannon, to follow up, should undocumented people who have been here for a number of years, are working, and have committed no criminal offenses, should they be allowed to stay? You have 30 seconds.
If they're no crime and they've been here and they've had no problems and things like that, I'd have no problem giving them some type of pathway so they could stay. No problem with that. We'd have to design it, right? We have to design it with the federal authorities and things like that. But I'd have no problem with that. There are people like that that are concerned, obviously. But I'm talking about those violent predators that are out there, gangsters, crimes against women, crimes against children, those types of things. Those are people that we have to be in focus on, and we have to lock them up.
Okay, Mr. Gannon, thank you very much. Moving on to our next topic here. Governor Murphy has issued guidance through his Department of Education for schools as they relate to transgender students. It says to use a student's chosen gender name and identity, adding, quote, parental consent is not required. The guidance further says communities should develop their own policies and refer families to resources if there's a disagreement between parents and their children. So, Mr. Gannon, would your administration keep this guidance? 60 seconds.
Sir, I didn't know that was up there. Sorry. On the transgender piece, the one thing about the transgender piece that I think is problematic is when we keep secrets from our parents. We should never keep secrets from our parents. It goes down a slippery slope. So I don't believe in that. I also don't believe in, the sports issue with regards to maybe men or boys playing in women's sports, girls' sports, because of safety and because of other issues. I don't believe that's good for us.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, same question to you. Would your administration keep this guidance? 60 seconds.
Well, my dad was one of the black ministers who was very supportive of the rights of all individuals and those on LGBTQ+. And so the relationship between parents and their children is sacrosanct. The school districts, as a two-decade school board member, the school district local policies are critically important. It's important to have education in Amistad education and other types of education programs. And so one of the realities and one of the challenges in the past is that administrations have made every school district the same. We need to begin to look at the unique needs and the unique safety issues around every child. Mikey has said, and I have said, that safety is number one. We will do whatever it takes to make sure that the safety of the children in the school district, the safety of the children in the community is our priority.
So you would keep the guidance?
We would review the guidance, but, at this stage, it makes some sense.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. And Henry has the next topic.
As we sit here this evening, gentlemen, we are on the verge of a potential federal government shutdown. In fact, just recently, as we were talking, the Senate voted and failed to reach a funding deal. So we are certainly on that path come tomorrow. A lot of the disagreement around funding centers around health care funding. So let's talk about that. The big Republican bill recently passed shifts some of the funding burden from the federal government to states and counties. According to the New Jersey Department of Human Services, quote, an estimated 350,000 eligible residents will lose health care coverage, and the state is at, quote, risk of eliminating the entire SNAP program, which gives food benefits to 800,000 people in New Jersey, mostly children and seniors. Mr. Caldwell, would your administration find the money to help people who could lose these benefits, and where would that money come from? You have 60 seconds.
Well, first of all, the Trump administration has a direct assault on the poorest people in New Jersey. $3.6 billion of Medicaid dollars are going away. You just said 350,000 people are going off the health care rolls. 450,000 people, when the ACA expires, are actually going to have premiums doubled. And so this is an assault, and that's where I'm saying that this is making New Jersey less affordable. We're going to have to find the money to really support that. But we're going to fight the Trump administration. Mikey's going to appoint an attorney general that will challenge the legality of the things that they're doing. But understand that we as a people, as a minister, there's a term in Africa called Ubuntu. I am because you are. That's who we are in New Jersey. And so we need to say that it's not just about folks on Medicaid. The way they go is the way the state of New Jersey goes. One of the things that people say is you judge society by how it treats its most vulnerable. Well, right now, we're not a good society. And so we need to, and Mikey and I are going to stand up to make sure that all people, no matter what their income level is, no matter where they live, has an opportunity to get the health care they need, the education they need, to make sure they have the jobs they need. That's why you want to elect a Cheryl Caldwell administration. They're supporting the Trump administration, which is gutting New Jersey.
Before we come to Mr. Gannon on the same topic, you said you'd push back against the Trump administration, but I didn't hear an answer to where you'd get the money to help people in the meantime. Do you have a plan for that? 30 seconds to follow.
We're looking at where we can get the money from. If it was an easy answer, it would have been found by now. So to tell you the truth, this is not a great time to go into New Jersey because of the assault by the Trump administration. And people often say, well, what does that have to do with us? It has everything to do with us, because billions of dollars are being taken out of taxpayers' pockets. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. I think there are opportunities with growing the business, bringing larger businesses here, looking at growing the small business community, which can generate additional revenue and ratables if they had the access to capital that they need to grow.
Thank you,
those are the opportunities.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Gannon, coming to you. Would your administration find the money to help people who could potentially lose these benefits? And if so, where would you find that money? 60 seconds.
I think it's a great question. $58 billion budget. $58 billion. It's gone up 70% in 8 years. Anybody here go up 70% in 8 years on their income? I mean, I think we could find the money. If we could find $58 million that was awarded to Jersey City for a French art museum, right? I think we could feed people that need food. I also, along with a number of people, my family, my friends, we go work the lines with community kitchens, Table of Hope in Morristown. So I deal with people in the community that need food, need shelter, need clothing. St. James on Martin Luther King in Newark. I'm involved with them also. So, but the money's there. We just have to go through the budget and find where that money is.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. To follow up on this topic, Mr. Caldwell, would taxing millionaires be on the table to keep these food and health benefits? 30 seconds.
Well, taxing millionaires is already on the table. You know, it's already being done. You know, my question to this administration is, why do billionaires need tax breaks and money's taken away from folks on Medicaid? That's the question that voters of New Jersey have to ask. Why do billionaires need tax breaks? And so we need to begin to look at that. One of the things we hear a lot about the budget. If the budget is so bloated, the people of New Jersey should be very comfortable, but they're struggling. So the question is, if the budget is too big, where is that money going to make New Jersey more affordable?
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Gannon, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, on that $58 billion budget, okay, $700+ million this year and last year was pork products there from traditional Democrat cities. So I think we can dip in there. We're talking about people's lives, people eating or not eating. If we don't prioritize that, what are we prioritizing? That's not Republican Democrat. That's about people that are maybe starving, people that don't have clothing.
And Mr. Gannon, to get you on the record and be fair, because I asked Mr. Caldwell, is a millionaire's tax on the table in your administration if you win?
Taxes are on the table, but I'd be careful of millionaire taxes. They're employing us. They're also
new taxes are on the table in New Jersey in your administration?
Well, you have to look at it. You have to look at the whole thing. But what I'm saying is millionaires, we can't just beat up the millionaires. The millionaires many times are our employers. They're employing us.
Thank you very much. Dan has the next question.
Gentlemen, we're going to move on to transportation and a series of questions on this important topic here. Mr. Gannon, coming to you first here. Is spending billions to widen the New Jersey Turnpike a good use of taxpayer dollars? Why or why not? 60 seconds here.
Well, I don't know exactly, but I know that transportation is a problem, right? I know that. And Jack Ciattarelli has spoken about starting a Garden State group with all the disciplines, transit, the Parkway, the Turnpike, the Atlantic City Expressway, and getting together and getting their heads wrapped around that. We have a lot of people, 400,000 people go into New York City from Jersey every day, about 10,000 go into Philly. We have a lot of people traveling, millions on the roadways, day in and day out. It's a real problem. Now we have FIFA coming in. Right? We have FIFA come in 2026. That's going to overload the system, too. That has to be one of the top priorities when we get into the office to try to get that moving in the right direction. So you have to look at those things. Hey, if it's expanding the roadway and it's good for the commuter, we have to do that. But on these committees that we have with all these various disciplines, okay, these Atlantic City Expressway and the transit and everything like that, I think you have to have commuters on that, too.
Okay, Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, same question to you. Is spending billions to widen the Turnpike a good use of taxpayer dollars? Why or why not? 60 seconds here.
Well, first I have to talk about what Jack promised at the last debate. All of the promises that he gave add up to $5 billion on top of the $6 billion on top of the $5 billion that the Trump administration has put here. So when we're talking about transit, when we're talking about affordability, all of that is impacted by the promises of Jack Ciattarelli. And so as we look at expanding that, we need to really make sure that we look at transit, that we're looking at the Garden State Parkway, we're looking at that. Consolidating them isn't going to save any money. That's his plan. But we're really looking at doing a whole bunch of other things going forward. But we have to look at transportation really as a unit in the state of New Jersey.
So let's stay on the topic of transportation right now. Mr. Caldwell, New Jersey Transit intends to have an annual 3% fare increase for the foreseeable future. So would you step in to stop this if you are elected? 30 seconds.
Well, one of the things we're going to look at is some new revenue sources. We're looking at creating transit-oriented villages that can increase ratables, which is revenue for them. We're looking at advertising. You go to New York City on the subway, you see advertising everywhere. There are millions of dollars, literally hundreds of millions of dollars there. But it also owns a lot of property around that. So we're looking to really make full use of that property that can generate hundreds of millions of dollars as well. We're really bringing a business approach to looking at and running the government of New Jersey. So saying all sorts of fake promises is not realistic.
It's not a yes or no on if you'd step in to stop those increases.
We have to look at them and see where the money's coming from.
Understood.
With the assault from the Trump administration.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gannon, same question to you. If elected, would you step in to stop New Jersey Transit from annually hiking fares 3%? 30
yes,
seconds.
We'd stop it. We have to stop it. The people can't do it anymore. The people can't do it anymore. We have to look at the money we have allocated right now, and we have to audit that and audit the process. We have to look at innovation. Einstein once said, right, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We have to change what we're doing. We have to look at the money allocated, but you can't just put it on the back of the taxpayer every day. The people coming to and from work.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. And in a similar vein, we're talking about transit here, but let's talk about tolls. They've also been increasing by 3% each year since 2020. So, Mr. Gannon, would those increases continue if you are elected? 30 seconds.
I'd like to see them stop. Can't do it anymore. People can't do it anymore. They're trying to work. They can't get to work. They're trying to get home, and they miss story time with their daughter, or they miss a Little League game. They can't get home. It's a broken system that really needs a total review by people that do that type of work. We could learn from some other countries. We could learn from some other states, right, of how to do it better. And we have to throw innovation in there. What does the future look like of transportation? That's what we have to look at.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, same question to you. Would you allow the annual 3% increase on tolls to continue? 30 seconds.
Our focus, obviously, is to keep tolls flat, but to look at innovative ways to do that, but also to really look at the interaction and the connection between transit, between the Parkway, and it's not consolidating. It's really looking operationally at those things. As I said, I have a background in doing that. I know people that have a background to really look at revenue opportunities going forward. You look at places like Connecticut, where they eliminated the tolls, that were there for a long time. So there are opportunities on the table. They're making promises that they can't pay for. And that's one of the things that you don't need to be a CPA or an MBA to understand, that it's great to promise everything, but if you can't pay for it, on top of the Trump administration $5 billion addition to all that we're doing, there's not enough waste in the system to cover the billions of dollars that they're promising.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. We've heard a lot about congestion pricing and in recent weeks, reverse congestion pricing. And for those who don't know, that would be charging people a toll to enter the Garden State as long as New York keeps its congestion pricing program. So, Mr. Caldwell, coming to you first, would you want to do a reverse congestion pricing? 30 seconds.
Obviously, the congestion pricing system that they put in place is something that we in New Jersey hate and abhor. What we need to do is really understand, again, the revenue opportunities that are there. One of the things we need to look at, sometimes increasing the tolls not only reduces the revenue. And so fewer people go there, but there's less revenue because of that. There's less business for small businesses. So one of the things we have to do is, as I said, small business is 49% of the workforce. We have to do things that will help people go to small businesses and help them generate revenue.
So not interested in a reverse congestion pricing?
We're not thinking about that.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. Mr. Gannon, should New Jersey implement reverse congestion pricing? 30 seconds to you.
I tell you something, that everything has to be looked at, but that congestion pricing, we have a lot of people in Jersey that are commuting in. As I said, 400,000 are commuting in, and most of them are probably going from 57th Street downtown. That's the reality. My family's from the neighborhood there. So I think it's ludicrous what they're doing on that side, but we have to look at how best do it for our people. I get concerned, though. I get concerned where people can't afford it anymore. They can't afford to go into the city and pay for a trip every day. It's expensive, very expensive.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. So just to be clear, would you want a reverse congestion pricing program?
I think we'll look at it. I think it has to be looked at. But without having all the facts, I wouldn't make decisions without all the facts.
We're going to leave it there, Mr. Gannon. Thank you. And Henry has the next topic.
As we approach the end here, let's talk about current Governor Phil Murphy. Mr. Caldwell, first to you, sir. What is one part of the Murphy legacy that you would change? 30 seconds.
Well, obviously, energy pricing would be something. We've put a plan that's very different than what Governor Murphy put together.
You thought he could have done more there?
Could have absolutely done more there to keep prices flat. And so that certainly is one of the programs. And so, as I said, people talk about, Governor Murphy. He's not going to be in office. Mikey and I are going to be there looking at all the programs that he has with new eyes and new experience.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Gannon, what is one part of the Murphy legacy that you would build upon? You have 30 seconds.
I like the concept of no cell phones in the classroom. Let's let those kids learn. Okay, education is extremely important, and that's one dynamic that I think we can control over there. As long as we have security in those buildings and things like that, that kids can concentrate on their studies, reading, writing, arithmetic. We went from 2nd to 12th on the National Report Card. We have to do better than that in Jersey.
Thank you very much. On to Dan.
Gentlemen, we covered a lot of ground and a lot of topics. Appreciate you being here on this stage tonight. It's time for closing statements. 60 seconds each to you. And Mr. Gannon, your time starts right now.
Thank you very much. I want to thank WPIX11. Been great. Your people in the back office have been great, and everybody's been great. So I'm very appreciative. Dr. Caldwell, thank you for the opportunity to get together and discuss these issues that are so important. Here I am, a kid from Boonton, and I've been very fortunate in my life. And I'm here on the stage here for Lieutenant Governor, and I'm very honored to be in this position. My father, 40 years ago, took me to work a few times, and he told me how to be a cop. And he says, be good to people, be a public servant. And I've tried to do that for 40 plus years. And I know I can continue to do that as your Lieutenant Governor. You can rely on me. I will always do the right thing, and I'll always do what's in the best interest of the people of New Jersey. And that's a tall task, but I'm ready for it. And I can't say enough about Jack Ciattarelli. He's a man who has great integrity, and he's ready to lead the Garden State. So thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Gannon, thank you. Mr. Caldwell, time for your closing statement. 60 seconds starts right now.
I'd like to thank WPIX and 1015 and all the other sponsors, and thank our audience and here and in the studio. I began talking about experience. I began talking about empathy, and I began talking about ethics. You know, Mikey and I clearly have the experience. We have the empathy. There's a Bible passage. It's my mission statement, Proverbs 31:8-9, to be a voice for the voiceless and speak up for the destitute. And we're so concerned about all people of New Jersey. And so the empathy. So we have the empathy for those programs. But it's ethics as well. And so I listen to 101.5, and I disagree with Bill Spady on most things, but I love his focus on small business. And he's one who says you can't believe what Jack Ciattarelli says. And so Jack has promised a lot of things. The sheriff is a true gentleman, and I don't include him in this, but he's promised a lot of things you can't pay for. The Trump administration is putting $5 billion here. Jack has promised more. We've got to do better. We've got to move forward.
Okay.
Honestly.
Mr. Caldwell, thank you. And that concludes our debate. We're out of time, so I can't ask my signature question if it's Taylor ham or pork roll. Thank you so much for you both being here on the stage. And a big thank you to Kean University for hosting this event. And don't forget, everybody, we are going to hear from the New Jersey gubernatorial candidates, okay? Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli in a 1-hour forum on Friday, October 3rd, right here on PIX11 and PHL17. So be sure to tune into that. And that will conclude our evening. Thank you for being here. Have a great night.